Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the life of a man whose voice echoed across the nation and whose dream continues to inspire the world. A man who faced down hatred with love and violence with peace. We're talking about the incredible Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His story isn't just a chapter in a history book, it's a living testament to the power of courage, conviction, and an unwavering belief in a better future for all. So, how did a Baptist minister from Atlanta become one of the most influential figures of the 20th century? Let's journey back and explore the life, the struggle, and the enduring legacy of Dr. King. Born Michael King Jr. in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1929, he was raised in a family deeply rooted in the church and the fight for racial equality. His father, a respected pastor, and his mother, a school teacher, instilled in him a strong sense of justice from a young age. Young Martin was a gifted student, skipping multiple grades and entering Morehouse College at just 15 years old. It was here, and later at Crozer Theological Seminary in Boston University, where he was introduced to the philosophy of nonviolent resistance, particularly the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. This was a turning point. He realized that the struggle for civil rights didn't have to be fought with fists, but with the powerful force of peaceful protest. He saw a path to dismantle segregation not by mirroring the hatred it was built on, but by rising above it with dignity and resolve. The year is 1955. In Montgomery, Alabama, a seamstress named Rosa Parks refuses to give up her bus seat to a white passenger. Her quiet act of defiance sparks a fire. The community, weary of the daily humiliation of segregation, decides to act. They need a leader, someone with the eloquence to articulate their pain and the strength to guide their protest. They choose a 26-year-old pastor, new to the city, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He steps up, and with his powerful oratory, he helps organize the Montgomery bus boycott. For 381 days, African Americans walked, carpooled, and stood together, crippling the city's transit system. They faced threats, violence, and intimidation, but they did not waver. The boycott ended with a Supreme Court ruling that declared segregation on public buses unconstitutional. It was a monumental victory, and it catapulted Dr. King onto the national stage as the leading voice of the civil rights movement. Following the success in Montgomery, Dr. King co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC. This organization became the engine of the movement, organizing nonviolent protests across the South. They staged sit-ins at segregated lunch counters, marches for voting rights, and boycotts of discriminatory businesses. Each protest was a calculated act of civil disobedience, designed to expose the brutal reality of Jim Crow laws to the world. They were met with police dogs, high-pressure fire hoses, and mass arrests. News cameras captured the horrific violence inflicted upon peaceful protesters, broadcasting the ugliness of segregation into living rooms across America and around the globe. King himself was arrested numerous times. It was during one such imprisonment in 1963 that he penned his famous letter from Birmingham jail, a powerful defense of nonviolent protest and a passionate plea for justice. He wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," a line that remains a powerful call to action today. Then came the moment that would be forever etched in history. August 28, 1963. Over 250,000 people, black and white, gathered at the Lincoln Memorial for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The atmosphere was electric with hope and anticipation. As the final speaker, Dr. King stepped up to the podium. He began with his prepared speech, but then, inspired by the crowd and the gravity of the moment, he set his notes aside. He began to preach, to testify, to share a vision that had been burning in his heart. "I have a dream," he declared, his voice soaring over the massive crowd. He spoke of a day when his four little children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He dreamt of a nation where former slaves and former slave owners could sit down together at the table of brotherhood. It was more than a speech, it was a prophecy, a symphony of hope that captured the soul of the movement and defined the struggle for generations to come. The impact of the March on Washington and Dr. King's speech was immediate and profound. It galvanized public support and put immense pressure on the government to act. Just 1 year later, in 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the landmark Civil Rights Act, legally ending segregation in public places and banning employment discrimination. That same year, at the age of 35, Martin Luther King Jr. became the youngest person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. He accepted the award not for himself, but on behalf of the entire civil rights movement, affirming his unwavering commitment to achieving equality through nonviolence. He donated the prize money to further the cause. The following year, after the brutal Bloody Sunday March in Selma, Alabama, the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was passed, securing the right to vote for millions of African Americans. Drive. King's strategy of nonviolent resistance had achieved what many thought impossible, but Dr. King's vision extended beyond civil rights. In his later years, he broadened his focus to confront what he called the three giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism. He launched the Poor People's Campaign to demand economic justice for all impoverished Americans, regardless of race. He became a vocal critic of the Vietnam War, arguing that the resources spent on the conflict could be used to fight poverty at home. This stance was controversial and cost him the support of some allies, but for Dr. King, peace and justice were inseparable. He believed that a just society could not be built while waging an unjust war abroad and neglecting the poor at home. His message was becoming more radical, more challenging, calling for a fundamental restructuring of society itself. Tragically, on April 4, 1968, while in Memphis, Tennessee, to support striking sanitation workers, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. He was just 39 years old. The world mourned the loss of a titan of justice. His death sparked riots in cities across the country, a painful expression of the grief and anger felt by a nation that had lost its moral compass. But an assassin's bullet could not kill the dream. Dr. King's legacy is not just in the laws that were changed, but in the hearts and minds that were transformed. He taught us that change doesn't come from the top down, but from the ground up. He showed us that love is a more powerful force than hate, and that nonviolence is not a sign of weakness, but of profound strength. His life is a reminder that one person, armed with a powerful idea and unshakable courage, can indeed bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. Today, Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a national holiday, a day for service and reflection. His I Have a Dream speech is recited by school children, and his quotes are shared worldwide as beacons of hope. But his legacy demands more than just remembrance, it demands action. The struggles against racism, poverty, and injustice are far from over. Dr. King's work is unfinished. It's up to each of us to pick up the torch, to speak out against inequity, to serve our communities, and to live out the dream of a world where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. He showed us the way. Now, it's our turn to walk the path. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through the life of a true hero. Dr. King's message is as relevant today as it ever was. What's your favorite quote from Dr. King, and how does his legacy inspire you? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more stories of the people who change our world. Until next time, stay curious and keep fighting for a better tomorrow.